Здравейте отново в поредното издание на Out Originals. Много се вълнувам за епизода днес. Той е един от най-интересните и най-вълнуващите епизоди до сега. Ще си говорим за култовия сериал Сексът и градът. И гостът ни е актьор от Ню Йорк, който се казва Макс Weinstein, и той стои зад един от най-интересните фен акаунти на предаването Sex and the City Breakdown, и в него той разказва кои са най-ключовите моменти от модна гледна точка, кои са най-ключовите моменти от актьорска гледна точка, и днес ще се включи в нашия лайв, за да си поговорим малко за най-важните моменти в шоуто, във всичките сезони на шоуто, и също така какво можем да очакваме от новата поредица на Сексът и градът, която се казва And Just Like That и предстои да излезе по HBO. В момента чакаме Макс да се включи, след което той също ще се представи с няколко думи, и ако ви имате въпроси за Сексът и града, сега е момента да ги зададете. Ето, включва се. Hello, hello.
Hi. Oh my God, I love this.
Hi.
How are you, babe?
I'm good. It's so nice to see you, and funny that we're meeting on Instagram. So many people.
I know. I was thinking, when was in the city? Was it 2019? When did you leave the city?
2019. It's
2019. Yeah, so that was, God,
a lifetime ago.
literally. I know, with everything that's going on, truly.
Yes, so we're super excited to have you here on OutBG. This is our brand new Bulgarian platform for the LGBTQ community. And I gave a little bit of intro about Sex and the City Breakdown, but just to give our readers a bit of a context, you and I also met through Voices for, which is a activist organization in New York that helps amplify queer voices around the world. And it was a really exciting time being around so many wonderful
Totally.
artists.
Yeah, it really, and so many people in that time. It was really great for that. It's still going, but I think even just the connections that were forged through that is really amazing. Yeah, well, first off, thanks so much for asking me to do this and for having me. More about SAT Breakdown specifically. Sure. So it's in an interesting place right now. It actually started Dan Clay, who's otherwise known as Carrie Dragshaw. He, on his story, was posting kind of just like his reaction to a Sex and the City episode. And that gave me the idea to kind of do something similar. Started off on my Insta stories, but it wasn't just reactions. It was kind of looking at, breaking down really every single aspect of the show. So the show is kind of perfect for me because I love fashion. I've been interested in fashion my entire life. I went to acting school, so I have an acting background. I've done a lot of work with films or in film production companies, things like that. So when I watch it, it's like a feast for me because I'm like, the fashion, the writing. It's an incredibly well done show. Let's start there. You know, people can think that it's maybe a little bit frivolous, but the bottom line is it's really great writing, smart directing, incredibly acting, and so thought out. So there's so much to uncover. It started with just posting a couple things on my Insta stories. And then from there, I decided to make it an Instagram page. We're always kind of experimenting which medium, I guess, works best for it. And this was before Instagram had Reels. So I was making these kind of makeshift videos on Instagram. And then I thought we should go to TikTok. And it's crazy. It blew up on TikTok. For 24 hours, we were very viral on TikTok. And then I guess I was breaching mad copyright from the clips, I guess, of the show, because 24 hours later, after honestly like millions of views and likes, I woke up the next morning wiped. I'm getting, everything was gone. I got this notification like, you have been banned from TikTok. You can never. It was dramatic. I was like,
Oh no.
yeah, it was very upsetting. So then I thought, okay, we'll keep it back to Instagram. And then this summer we kind of put it on pause. And then I've been thinking about bringing it back because I miss it. I was watching an episode the other day, a great scene where Carrie and Big are getting lunch. And he tells her that he's engaged. She's in this pink dress. They're at 11 Madison Park. It's an incredible scene. And I was like, damn, I miss talking about this show. So then I had the idea, I'm probably going to start, I'm like, what's the next right medium for it? And I think it's a reaction video, like a YouTube type reaction video. So that's something that I'm working on. I'll definitely let you know those are up and running. And I think it's time we give SATC Breakdown new life after several months of a hiatus.
Absolutely. I think it's super wonderful because, the show is iconic, but just watching it, even people that watch it many times, it all kind of just blends together. And watching your videos, it's like I watch 5 minutes of your video and we're only like halfway through the first 2 minutes of the.
I know, it's literally, I'm like, and something will happen and I'm like, oh, damn it. We're going to really go through everything because there's so much and it gives me so much joy. It's a mission to show. In recent years, the show has gotten such a frivolous connotation, kind of, and I feel very strongly about making it known that it has frivolous aspects, it has problematic aspects. There are some things that hasn't aged well. But the bottom line is, it was on a premium network with so much thought and detail going into every little thing. And it only gets richer and more detailed as it progresses. And it's frankly it just brings me so much joy to cover everything. Because also too, what's so fun when I discover something in the moment of making the videos. There was one moment, where she's talking about like great relationship, A, B, incomplete. And then it's incomplete and it cuts to the back. She has a pillowcase. Sorry, we're like going there, but it is Sex in the City. And there was something on the pillowcase, like maybe a little stain, I don't know. And the episode prior, she was dating someone who had premature.
Yeah.
And then it's like the next episode, she's talking about incomplete. And in the back, there's a pillowcase with a stain. I was like, did they really do that? I really think they did that. And I was dying. I'm still gagged that happened. But it is HBO. They can do whatever they want. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the most, maybe the thing that made it so iconic is, first of all, New York, the city, and that specific era of the city, and also the fashion.
Totally. And it's funny, when SJ is asked in interviews, why do you think the show is still so popular and has so much life? And she always says, it's the friendships. I'm like,
Yeah.
I think it's the outfits. I really do. And so, the 90s is so alive right now. It feels like our whole culture for now several years is kind of in this 90s reliving moment. And so the fashion, which is so of that era, so kind of its own thing, but also, yeah, New York of that era. I feel refreshing to me to watch a show so cosmopolitan, so sophisticated, and also doesn't have, smartphones. I'm not like super nostalgic, but I enjoy being in that world that looks frankly amazing. you know, they all look amazing. The settings, the locations are all amazing. It's a very authentic, chic time in New York when New York still felt a bit of kind of old New York, you know, a dash of gritty. Like we see the meatpacking district becoming gentrified on that show, and now it's, you know, Times Square. So that whole, all of those things make it really rich. But the fashion is, yeah, it's unreal because it's also, you know me, Costa. Like I'll just, what I love, we can talk about the iconic moments. We know the iconic moments. I'm obviously obsessed with her oversized white button down with an Hermes belt. I love the gray bodycon dress with Ray-Ban aviator, the vintage Gucci bag. But what I also love is that the costuming is so, it's so thought out, and it's so her entire life. Like I was watching an episode the other day and she's wearing practically Sophie little rolled up shorts and rubber flip-flops.
Right.
And I'm like, oh wait, but yeah, she was just running to the newsstand to get a cigarette and the paper. Yeah. It's so real, it's so thought out. You would think like, oh, she's gonna throw on the look. Like no, she's still a real New York person. And so I, as much as I enjoy those really iconic fashion looks, I enjoy so much when it's an iconic fashion look because it's her whole moment of her life, and they really thought about that, and I love that.
It really captures like the real, whatever that means, but the real New York vibe.
Yeah,
of
totally.
being a person in New York, and it also functions with a really wonderful like suspense of disbelief that anything is possible in New York, and you can, you know, live off the freelance magazine writer salary and be buying all those things and be
well, and they don't sugarcoat it. She's in tons of debt. You know, it's like you can buy those fabulous shoes all the on that freelance budget, but then when your boyfriend breaks up with you, you can't pay your rent. So I really like that aspect too. There is an aspect of fantasy. Hatfield said that when she's costuming, she does focus on confines of reality wise, but I like that there is that dash of reality. I also want to say, speaking of that, because there's an interview with Michael Patrick King, who's the showrunner, executive producer, and Pat Field, where they're talking about the huge Versace dress that she's wearing in Paris towards the finale. And Michael Patrick King is saying, Pat, she can't be wearing that dress. How did she get it in her luggage? I'm so focused on the reality of the luggage. I'm thinking, Michael Patrick King, Petrovsky for her in Paris. Like, what? This is an obvious. Pat Field doesn't even worry about the reality, but if we were, there's always a way for Carrie to have a fabulous dress. Come on. I mean, please.
there's always a guy.
There's always a guy, and there's always an Oscar de la Renta or Versace dress. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So for you, what are the most iconic moments in the series overall? You can talk about yours, and then I'm gonna tell you about mine.
Oh my God, I can't wait to hear yours. I mean, I have so many. It's really just like what's swirling in my head on this day. I always die. Samantha, he's like an NYU student. Ooh, are you there? Okay. Yeah. So she keeps getting all the phone calls, you know, like, hey, Sam, can't wait to come to the tonight. And she's like, Sam? This is Sam. Who is this? And then she has sex with this NYU college kid, and he like crazy for her, and he's like, I love Sam. Sam! And then there's this voicemail sequence. He's leaving her voicemail. That always cracks. Oh, I love in the episode Ring a Ding Ding, there's a scene where Carrie's all pissed and she shows up at Charlotte's apartment pissed. Like pissed. And Charlotte goes, what are you doing here? She goes, I was just in the neighborhood. and then she just like goes into her house and lays it on. I first saw that scene, I was gagged. I was like, I love an angry, bitchy Carrie because sometimes she gets angry and bitchy. So those are iconic moments, but those are two fun moments that I've been thinking of recently that I always love.
Yeah.
What are yours? I'm dying to hear yours.
I love the one where Samantha's blowing the UPS delivery guy in her office. That's like such a heightened Samantha moment because we know she loves having sex, but it's such a, you know, like a power move doing it in your office and being this like strong woman who's not afraid to go there. And then
Totally.
walking in on her.
Well, and also then Carrie, it kind of sets up a kind of undercurring, recurring thing of the show, which is that Carrie, for a sex columnist, is judgmental as hell.
Yeah.
Like she's very not free sex, free love. She's super judgmental of Samantha giving the UPS guy head. So that, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I love that whole episode when they get invited to the baby shower, the baby birthday, whatever, and someone steals Carrie's shoes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Oh my God. A woman's right to choose. Iconic. An iconic episode. I wasn't sure if you were saying season 1 they go to a baby shower outside New York. Season 6, yes. That actually has. I love the costuming on that episode too, because she's wearing a lot. She's wearing a lot of kind of like flared cargo pants, and I bought recently a pair of vintage Margiela khakis that in my head are very season 6 of Women's Right to Choose. Yeah, and also a really divisive episode. I love that he said, I got registered to myself. Give me the like, absolutely. You spend so much money on all your babied friends.
I remember the first time I watched it, I was really shocked. I was like, oh my God, how dare she compare it? But then, you know, when you watch the whole series and you see who Carrie is as a character, then it makes a lot of sense. But I remember feeling very polarized watching it.
Yeah. I mean just in life I always say I love, so long as you respect love and it's not political. But things like that, I love disagreement. Someone's like, oh no, okay, great, let's disagree and let's talk. So I love really polarizing episodes.
What's your least like favorite moment, or maybe the moment that doesn't feel true to the show?
Ooh.
That's a hard question.
Well, no. There's a kind of weird right before she book deal, there are a couple episodes where herself feels like she's punk, and the episodes aren't my favorite. She like it but that's kind of more about that. That's not really a character thing, but like, yeah, she's writing. I'm not sure if it was kind of a writer block or maybe it's a bit of a slow burn before then the book and Burger. But there are a couple of episodes. Winter episodes are always hard because they're not tan and everyone looks better with the tan. So I always, and it's like they have colder outside. I always enjoy episodes more or in spring, summer. So once you get kind of like a draggy episode where Carrie herself is like, I don't know, I'm writing a column about socks. I'm like, well, this is boring. You're bored and so am I.
Because they use the column as kind of like the metaphor for the whole show, right?
Right.
At least they tried to.
Sorry, go ahead.
And then there's like whole episodes where it's just random and they go, meanwhile, across town, and it doesn't have, like, it's very non sequitur sometimes.
Right. Yeah, the best episodes are when every character and what all are going through relate directly to the central topic of the column. That's, I think, like when it worked. And that's the rhythm that they found and really ran with. And it worked really well. Yeah.
Yeah. So the question that's burning on everyone's minds who's reading the comments, what do we think of rebutting the show without Samantha?
Yeah, Okay, so when there was first talk of this, I was like, no, we don't, or just in general, after the second movie, should there be a third movie? I was like, no. The second movie was not great, and we don't need the show. Then, but as soon as it was announced, I don't know, I couldn't help but be excited. And then when I stop and really think about it, I mean, it's gonna be rough. I'm going with a very, very open mind.
Yeah.
I'm going in expecting to love it. I'm going in rooting. It's hard. I mean, Samantha is the sex.
Yeah.
You know, they all have sex, but kind of without her, it's literally and the city there. So I'm hoping
That's aged the best out of the whole series. Like,
what was
she's the character that's aged the best watching it back. She's the one that still feels relevant and not problematic.
totally exactly. So I don't think they're going to have another Samantha as a different actor. I'm hoping that there will be, if not one core new friend group that they somehow met, then maybe a couple close new friends. But there needs to be a character to fill in that space. There needs to be a wild, sexually free, glamorous as all hell, doesn't take any BS from anyone, woman, like, or power anything. There really needs to be that in the show. And so, yeah, I'm going in with a very open mind. I'm really rooting for them, but if it's not great, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But also too, a reboot, one of the reasons why I think the movies got off the rails a little bit, even something as simple as scoring in music. Like the show soundtrack and good songs, but the show doesn't have orchestral scoring.
Yeah.
The way the movies do. And that does not work for me. It's very kind of la la fairyland, like I don't, that's not authentic, I feel like, to what it is. So the good news is, in a reboot of the series versus a third movie, is it's going back to the original me. So I'm hoping that make it feel more authentic. But yeah, I don't, when I really stop and think of No Samantha, it makes me sad and I worry. But beyond that, or above that, rather, kind of like a blurry, ooh, it's coming, and I'm choosing to give that a bit more weight.
That's nice. I read somewhere that they're thinking, it's rumors, but Caitlyn Jenner might be making an appearance.
Really?
As like a way
I did not hear that. That I don't,
divert.
like, it's like that to me shows already a not on the pulse, not in tune choice. They're probably thinking, oh great, gender representation. Like that is not the transgender representation that we want, that I want, and that most people want. I mean, oh, I can hear that.
Right, but not the right one, definitely.
No, not at all. Ooh. Okay, well, let's hope that, let's get on and make sure that doesn't happen.
But that's a really interesting point you made about the scoring and the music, because at the end of the day, it is a fun show, so it works really well with, shorter episodes that you can binge, and it's still very playful and bubbly, and the movies feel very like, bleh. Like,
they're heavy, they're weighed down, and even too, I hope they've learned. I mean, Chris knows himself, who plays Big. He's even who's like, the movie's got kind of hokey. The movie's my favorite. So if a key player is feeling that way, then hopefully they're going to look inward and and make choices so that it feels. I mean, it's New York. You can't be weighed down. It should be fast paced and fun and alive. And I also hope that they don't. I hope that they honor characters' age and don't try to make them super young. Like, it's not 1998. I want to see you in the packing district at a bar in a mini dress, like clubbing. I personally don't want to see that. I've been saying the whole time, I want Tribeca dinner parties. I want lovely dinners. Like, there's real sophisticated women. Like, that's what I want. I don't, appeal to young masses of what it was then, because it's not. So I think that deepens it and makes it less authentic.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. How do you think, like, they're gonna play with all of them? Like, how will they age? And
with age?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I know. And after the second movie, you're like, well, there was already so much talk about hormones, and and menopause. Like, how can it? I'm like, we don't need more menopause talk. So, maybe we do need more menopause. I don't know, but yeah, I'm hoping that they honor. We're in such a different time now about age. Like, I think our society really. You could argue both sides of the coin, but if you look at, say, runway representation and model representation, like, you have models now of all ages. I think there is a large group of people and large part of culture right now that's not quite maybe as youth obsessed as we were in the past. And so I hope they tap into that. I want McQueen tailoring all women, because that's what they are. So that's what I want.
That sounds amazing, honestly.
How chic would that be?
Yeah.
Because it's like, how you keep it relevant is by honoring where they are, not by trying to recreate what was true 20 years ago. What is true, real, and authentic, and chic, and desirable for where they are now?
Yeah.
God, I want to consult. What can you do?
They should cast you.
Who, maybe, like, yeah, Stanford and Anthony's, like, way young. Who knows?
No, but it will be interesting, especially after the other show that Pat Field did, Emily in Paris, and the fashion there really got dragged for.
Yeah, well, that was, see, Emily in Paris was hard for me because everyone said, "Are you obsessed?" And I said, "No, I'm not with how she dresses, because I'm not obsessed with her as a character. Like, I was more Mia's dressing because that's authentic. It's very bright and it's fun, but my personal tastes and what I die for is not like a beret and a bunch of neon clothing. But that was that character's vision of what France. So I think it was smart costuming, but I didn't necessarily die for it. I was much more into, like, Camille's Eero dress and a leather blazer. Like that, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm into that. Did you like Emily in Paris? What were your thoughts on that?
So my boyfriend and I, we watched it in like half a day.
Oh my God, binge worthy. And I'm not a binger. That was the most bingeable show I've.
We didn't like it, but we kept watching it.
Exactly. No, exactly. I was like, was it great? No. Did I watch it? 100%. Do I want season 2? Yes.
She's so dumb when you just need to see what she does in the next episode. Like,
yeah,
that was it.
Exactly. And that Corinne Reutfeld-esque boss, which, like, I love a skirt with a slit. Why not?
Yeah. And the guys they had on that show were really handsome as well. Like,
yeah, they. And the French office people, was kind of like, that was my favorite part of the show, was kind of how they dragged her. I wish they dragged her more. Like, Parisians would chew her up and spit her out, and so they kind of did that. I think they could have gone even further.
Yeah.
They could have even speak a word of English ever, but we couldn't have the entire show be in French. I would have loved if half the show was in subtitles, so she's like, what's happening? Because that's what really would have been happening.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see.
At like dinner table. you know, 5 or 6 French people, and they know you don't understand, but they just don't make any
Right.
effort.
In Sex and the City, that's the thing. When it's like one of the final episodes, the episode with, she's with Petrovsky at a hotel, 2 French friends, they all start speaking French to each other. And Carrie's kind of like, and it's that moment where she really starts to think, is this the right place for me? I don't know, because that is realistic. That is how it goes.
That one moment in the last few episodes where she bumps into those random French fans and they invite her out to dinner, but then she make it because she has to stay with Petrovsky. That's such a
It's still, no, it makes me so upset still, Costa. When she blows off that dinner and then she finally does go to the dinner, but she missed it and the splattered wine over the, it makes me it still makes me so upset. I'm like, Petrovsky is so needy, so annoying. I didn't need her there. And then it's a little dramatic, close in on him letting go of her. Does like, I let go. That's a little bit dramatic, but it makes me sad. I so wanted her to have that dinner party with those fans. I loved those. They were like, Carrie Bradshaw, Le Sex and the City. Like, I died for that. I wanted her to have that moment, and it didn't happen. It's still that.
It's a very realistic moment, you know, like there's so many like asshole artistic male ego blah 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 that are like so insecure and they need that person there, but then when they get all the attention they don't need it anymore. So I thought that was such a well done moment, actually, like very realistic.
I think Petrovsky as a whole was well. And as a character, you can decide if you like him for just like him for not, whatever. But yeah, I mean, in the final season, it was really well thought. And I mean, even after like when they first kind of like kissed, the whole thing of them going to the gallery night, and when they finally tasted like cherries because of like the cherry drink at the Russian samovar, it's just like, it's good. It's like, it makes you go like, you get that jolt that she obviously feels from it.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Arc, and even having, you know, Baryshnikov, who's one of like the most iconic dancers in the world, be there and play this like very, I wouldn't say a caricature, but like a very stereotypical Russian person. It's
it was good. Yeah, I wonder whose idea that was process. Also, I want to say too that worked. Her and Petrovsky worked for the time. They couldn't have earlier on. Like, what doesn't really go acknowledged is at some point, once she gets the deal, she's in a vastly different financial place, and that, I think, affects everything. She's not kind of an early 20s, early 30s like flailing. She's a bit more of a secure place, and I think her being a grounded place, secure place, is what allowed her to even engage in that relationship with Petrovsky in the first place. It still doesn't really work because, you know, maybe she has a bit more financial security, but she's still who she is, and so it doesn't work. But that relationship, I don't think, could have even started or wouldn't have lasted as long if she was several years younger.
Yeah, we have a comment that says Petrovsky was the perfect rebound fantasy.
Totally. Yeah, rebound from, well, who was it after? Post Big. Yeah, I mean post Burger. It really, Burger.
Yeah.
I know, I don't like Burger.
I remember it was one of the very first episodes. It's with, what's the actor's name? The one that was in Suits. Do you know who I'm talking about? He plays,
Wait, what? It's an early episode?
I think so. He plays like this artist, the one that like videotapes the women having sex.
Barkley?
Yeah.
Barkley and Holop. That's the Holop that I'm with.
Yeah, that's such a good moment, and it's so explicit.
Samantha being busy, yeah, and Samantha wanting to be busy, yeah, and so talk about ahead of its time. Like, really, I'm so happy you brought that up because there are a couple instances of sex tapes in the show that are, it's like later on, dating Smith, and there's a rumor that Smith is gay.
Yeah.
So she's like, all right, Smith, it cracks me up. She's like, I want you to say, fuck me hard, Samantha Jones, I love you, Samantha Jones, fuck me, Sam Jones. Like, it cracks me up every time. But she's like, what do you mean? We're going to post out a sex tape so everyone knows you're not gay. I think it was really smart. One, it destigmatizes. Years before, now, you know,
Yeah.
sex work is becoming a lot, and sex videos is becoming a lot less stigmatized, which is great. But back then, I mean, like, think Paris Hilton's like life was ruined and she was completely exploited. So I think it was really interesting that they took kind of a sex positive approach, which they should. She's the sex positive character. So I'm so happy you brought that up. It's really funny. And she's like, what do you mean? What do you mean you can't video models? Like, and I'm a model. She's like, I want this porno. So good. Yeah, see, think about how much we're talking about her.
Yeah.
It's we'll see. It's a really tall order, and they have to think really, really creatively. And I think they really need to interrogate every choice, and they need to really analyze what she brought to the show, what the character brought to the show, and they need to think creatively of how can we bring that energy, not replicate, but how can we bring that energy, that sizzle, because it really needs that. It really does.
Yeah.
So
I think they should definitely have you consulting. That's the obvious.
I'm always, and I mean, stay tuned. I'm always, who knows, we're always doing what we can. I'll keep you posted, but
We could totally do episode 2 of our live once the new series is up and running.
yes, oh my gosh, I would so love, so love, absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and for talking.
Thanks for having me. I'm so happy to see you.
Yeah, me as well. It's really fun, and everyone in the comments was having a really fun time. People were popping in, being like, Sex and the City talk, I'm loving it. So, yeah.
I mean, nothing I love more than Sex and the City talk. Truly.
Yeah, if you guys who are watching us now enjoyed the chat, you can check out SATC Breakdown on Instagram, where Max goes really, really in depth into a lot of episodes and moments, and it's super fun, and you get so much new life out of the show, even for people that have been watching it many, many times.
Thank you. That's so sweet. And I'll let you know too once videos are up, so people watching, if they want to continue with Breakdown, totally can.
Yep, we're doing it.
Yay. Oh my god,
thank you so much, and enjoy. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. So good to see you.
You as well. Bye.
Bye everyone.